That was a dining room. One meal a day for the whole community. They were just a few hundred men that lived out here. No women, by the way. Yes, so they could dedicate their life to God. That was the whole idea. Come here, live here for a few years, dedicate your life to God. That's what they used to do out here in the desert. From 6, they used to get up at 4:30 in the morning, according to the manual of discipline, and study till 1 o'clock at night. Only 3 hours of sleep, that's all.
You don't need more than that.
You don't need more than that, that's right.
What did they use for an alarm clock to wake up?
Yeah, they had their little Google.
Cell phones.
Yeah, for cell phones, right.
A rooster.
Yeah.
Roosters.
Okay, if I may add something about what was found here in the 50s, and most of these discoveries had been done on the 50s when this was not under Israel. The scrolls were now safe in the not in the Israeli museum, but in Israeli hands. But the Jordanians control this area. Remember, we are now in Judea and Samaria. So the Jordanians, actually with the help of the Franciscans, the Father Roland de Vaux, excavated the ruin that we are now standing in. They did not live here. They lived in caves around where they wrote the scrolls. They convened here. This was their community center, and they were listening to the preaching of their teacher of righteousness. Now, my point is, if I may, just a small correction, the Jordanians and the Franciscans in the early 50s on the eastern side found a cemetery. Now, if it would be Israel, they would not dig the cemetery because you do not disturb the dead. The Orthodox Jews will go wild. But these were Muslim Jordanians, so they dug out the graves, and they found 1,100 graves with skeletons in them. The amazing thing, all of them were lying, head north, feet south, skull facing the Dead Sea, their back pointing in Jerusalem, symbolic. It's very interesting. They did not like Jerusalem and the temple. As Doron said, Isaiah 43, paved road in the desert for our Lord. You don't need Jerusalem, you don't need the temple is in your heart. So the 1,100 skeletons were all facing east, Amman and the Dead Sea, showing their back to Jerusalem. Just last remark, 42 skeletons out of the 1,100 were females. 42. How did they know? They know. Anthropologists know. So, vast majority male, but there were 42 females among these Essene people.
But they could have been from a later period, okay? Let's go.
Okay. Thank you, Doron.
Look at the water cisterns, guys. All the water had to be collected from the rainwater that came down from the Judean hills, okay? They had an aqueduct, and that's how they filled up those cisterns with water, because it doesn't rain here more than 5 days a year. So the total rainfall here is less than 7 inches in a good year, sometimes only 4 inches.
Wow.
So you depend completely on water that comes down from the Judean hills, okay?
So are those what they dug in there?
I don't know.
Dead Sea, guys, this is where Mount Nebo would be, where Moses saw the promised land before he died. Right across from us. Okay, come up here, guys. Take a look at Cave 4, what we call the Scrolls Cave, because more scrolls were found in that one cave than all the other 10 caves. They did it first in 47, that little hall back down here, and then in 1954 they found another thousands of fragments of scrolls that they haven't found in 47. This is not where the shepherd boy, that's not where the Isaiah scroll was found, okay? That was in K1, which is behind that hill back there.
Oh, I see.
Okay? So this is K4. But that turned out to be the cave where most scrolls were found in all the other caves. Remember that those people had to leave here in a hurry, and they didn't have enough as jars to put the scrolls in. The vessels were not, so just a few of them were put in them. Most of them were just laid into those caves. That's why it took us so many years to put them back together, all those little fragments, and put them back together and read them with infrared. There is an institute in Jerusalem named after the most famous American archaeologist, Albright, the Albright Institute, okay? And like he said, Dov, it's a French institute, and they did all the work on those scrolls. In the Rockefeller Museum, they used to put, years and years work to put them back together. If you Google now Dead Sea Scrolls, you have all of the scrolls you can actually read them.
Right.
Yes.
Was Isaiah in
Isaiah,
jar?
the complete Isaiah scroll.
Well, it was in a jar.
This one was Thanks God in a jar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You see, 54, they found some more fragments.
In
This
54, they found in this one cave 1,000
But
fragments.
this was still Jordanian territory.
Right.
Yeah.
It was Jordanian, but the Jordanians were always more flexible to allow archaeologists to come in here and dig in here, even though it was their territory. We always had a special kind of relation. Now it's a big story because now Jordan wants those. They say that we stole those scrolls from them, and they want them. They have, by the way, the temple. Not the temple scroll.
The copper.
The copper scroll. The copper scroll is in Amman. They have one scroll in Amman in a museum there, but we have all the others.
They allowed anyone to look at it?
Well, they put a museum in, but that's not. It doesn't. The copper scroll turned out to be a scroll to be telling where everything was hidden. But with that scroll, we haven't been able to find any of the information in that scroll. Never turned out to be true. I mean, we couldn't find what was written in that scroll was not really accurate. Okay, so take your pictures here, guys. We're going to go back this way. We're going to give you a few minutes time. There is a big place back here at Qumran. They also have a shop here where you can buy some of the cosmetic stuff that was made here by the